Yo, welcome back to the Anime Block channel. I'm here with my co-host Zensei once again, and we're here this time to discuss a world where Itachi actually became power hungry and he wanted to accomplish everything Obito and Madara tried to accomplish. How far he would have gotten in the story, who he would have defeated, and what's not. Kick it off, and first thing first, we're gonna start with his childhood, like how great he was as a kid. He was pretty much a genius, a prodigy, whatever. And we're gonna bring it right up until the Great War. Right? Because we're gonna imagine that he actually didn't die to Sasuke, and he was still alive, but of course he was chasing power, so he probably took Sasuke eyes, which we know that'd be hard to believe, but you know, we're gonna imagine a world where he actually accomplished the things that he was pretending that he wanted. So Sensei, let's start with his childhood, and let me talk about. No, what? Let me get to the interesting part. Kakashi versus Itachi as a child. Who you think would have won when they were like 13? I think Itachi was a bit better than Kakashi, even though Kakashi was pretty much a prodigy within himself, right?
Thanks for having me. Welcome back to another episode, everyone. Yeah, let's kick it off. So, Itachi versus Kakashi as a child. I think as much as I don't want to undersell Kakashi, there's prodigies, and then even amongst prodigies, there's other prodigies, right? And the Hidden Leaf is known for its prodigies, but Itachi might have been maybe top 3 prodigies in the Hidden Leaf. Next to maybe Madara and Hashirama. Alright, so I think it goes without question that Itachi would most likely triumph over somebody like Kakashi, even as children. I think when Kakashi came into the Anbu at, I think, a preteen, Itachi was already there at 13. Or do I have it the other way around? Was Kakashi already there, and then Itachi came in after? But in any case, Itachi joined the Anbu at a pretty young age. Itachi was like 13 when he joined the Anbu, which is already impressive. He was younger than Kakashi at that point, so that speaks volumes.
Yes, Itachi actually joined at 11 years old. Kakashi was already there before him. He was already like a squad leader. And then Itachi was working under him. Then he became a captain or whatever, squad leader at 13 years old. But on the data books or whatever, it said he was actually 12. But for some reason, they adjust the age. I don't know why, really. So, yeah, honestly, if I had to be going off of, like, at that age, who would have won, even though Kakashi was already established within the Ambu, I gotta give it to Itachi. Because Itachi was, as you said, they're prodigies amongst prodigies, right? And I like Kakashi more than Itachi, right? But once again, I'm not going to be here playing bias just because I like a character more than another character. Facts is facts, right? So at that point, if we're going to start out from there, right? Let's just say that Itachi was evil, or not really evil, but just power hungry, whatever you want to call it. I would think that if he wanted to take out Kakashi right there and then he would have. It wouldn't be easy, let's be honest. It wouldn't be easy at all, But I think he could have taken out Kakashi right there and then. At that time too, Itachi didn't have any chakra problems or anything like that. I think that only became more of a problem when he became an adult, right? So you got to take that out of the equation. Kakashi, on the other hand, he already had chakra problems because he was using the Sharingan that didn't belong to him. So I could already see that being a big problem against Itachi. Plus two, at the same time, you're using one Sharingan versus two. So like I can see Itachi actually taking that one for sure.
Yeah, Itachi versus Kakashi. As much as I love the idea that Kakashi, because you see, the thing about it is Kakashi is resourceful, right? He's not the strongest ninja, but he always finds some kind of way to come out on top. Because I would like to say like he's one of the most optimized ninjas with what he has. I think Kakashi is a very realistic idea of being the best you can be instead of necessarily comparing yourself to others or trying to supersede others. But Kakashi is more of a let me just optimize myself the most I can and see how far I get. But still at the end of the day, Itachi mastering what he mastered at that age, plus if he had that mindset of the topic being power hungry and etc. or being evil, then yeah, Kakashi wouldn't be much of
So
an issue.
let's move on to, we're gonna, of course, Susui. We gotta include Susui, right? Because I mean, if he's power hungry, he's not gonna be necessarily the best guy, you know. So you can imagine him trying to take his best friend eyes and thing as well. And I know in the story it said that Shisui was a better prodigy than Itachi, but that's just hearing say. You know, like people can hype up people to all hell, but if you never really see it, like it doesn't really matter. Which I don't doubt that Shisui was a prodigy within himself, but let's be honest. What did he really do? Like, what did he really did? You know, that you can really say that you see with your own two eyes, other than hearing say. You know, so like let's put him versus Shisui now. Who you think will win, right? Between the two, because as we said, Itachi's out for blood, so we're gonna imagine that he's also out for Shisui blood as well.
Well, aside from Shisui giving basically the biggest assist because of his Sharingan, giving Itachi one of his eyes, which later on allowed Itachi to break the reanimation. And I think Shisui also had foresight. Right, that was one of the abilities of his Mangekyo. He had foresight, but yeah. So Shisui versus Itachi, I think I would still have to give it to Itachi. It's not that I'm doubting Shisui necessarily. It's just again we have never really seen what he could have done capability wise, and then at the same time, well, outside of the foresight and everything, and then he also lost to Danzo, so a weaker Danzo, I would assume, because that was pretty much a long time ago. And I don't think Danzo had all the eyes on his arms yet, so there's that too.
Yeah, the ability Shisui had was the Kodo or Matsukami, something like that. But that time, bro, like you 10 years you need to wait to recharge one move, you know. So like for me, and even then, as you said, Danzo himself killed Shisui. He has so much respect and fear for Itachi. He didn't even want to touch Sasuke when Itachi was alive, and that was a sick Itachi. So, like I said, once again, we imagining now that Itachi is not. We gotta give it to Itachi, because Shisui lost to Danzo, while Danzo was respecting Itachi from the moment he even recognized him. At what age when he joined the Ambu? You know what I mean? So like, Sushi is just a lot of hearsay, so I can't really say much about that. But okay, on to the next. So let's go on to the next. Let's talk about Obito versus Itachi when they met at the point where they plan to destroy the Uchiha clan, right? To kill the Uchiha clan. Let's talk about that moment. Who you felt was stronger at that point? Because I still find it ridiculous that Itachi can eliminate a whole Uchiha clan by himself with a little bit of assistance of Obito, which Obito didn't even really do much. He just like, yo, go ahead, do the main job. I'm gonna clean up the ones that you miss. That was Obito's job. So, like, who you think was stronger at that point when they first met?
In terms of strength, probably Itachi still. I feel like Itachi was smarter and stronger. That's based off abilities alone. The thing about Itachi is Itachi hit his peak really quick and he maintained his peak. So that's still the same Itachi that can do Susanoo and all these things. He just was younger at the time and healthier. So I think at the end of the day, Itachi's power scaling from the point in time when he got the Mangekyu Sharingan, that was his peak, but it's a pretty high peak early on in the show. So at any point in time Itachi has the Mangekyu Sharingan, that's pretty much Shippuden Itachi. But again, it's just Itachi was kind of preserving that Sharingan for years. Not like Sasuke that was just abusing it left, right, and center. And the minute he got it was the minute he also lost it. You know? But yeah, I'd still have to give it to Itachi.
Yeah, I know a lot of people not gonna agree with that take that Itachi is stronger than Obito at that point when they first met. But we need to remember, like I said, the show don't always necessarily need to. And I'm not saying that Itachi was like definitely stronger than Obito. We don't know that. But at the same time, like there's certain things in the show that can give you certain hints to like, bro, Itachi had a lot of powerful people within Naruto not willing to make certain moves just because he was alive. That even goes for Obito. Obito couldn't even step to Sasuke, bro, until Itachi died. And that, like I said once again, that was a sick Itachi. And Obito is defiant too as well. Obito gonna do what Obito wanna do to accomplish his plans. So if Obito really wanted to step to Sasuke because of yo fuck Itachi kind of energy, he would have done it. But Obito had to respect Itachi, and it wasn't even out of respect. But if he truly did respect Itachi, he would have never go to Sasuke with the truth to begin with. He would have never go to him. So that means you didn't wait to him out of fear because you basically waited until Itachi died, then to go and tell Sasuke the truth. So it's not respect. You didn't go to him. It was out of fear. So like that's how that came off to me. The same thing goes for Danzo, right? So basically we can skip Orochimaru and all of those characters and I start moving up. In terms of cause we know Itachi cooking Orochimaru shit less scared of Itachi. But let's start with the Akatsuki, right? People say that in the Akatsuki, Itachi is like the third strongest because people put Obito, then Pain, then Itachi, right? But as we just discussed, I'll be saying Itachi, we're gonna imagine Itachi is not sick. So if he's part of the Akatsuki, he's a healthy Itachi that is power hungry, right? So basically, if he was sick still, yes, you can say definitely Pain and Obito would have been above him because they're healthy and whatever. But this Itachi is not sick once again. So you think that his standing within the Akatsuki changed from third, and you believe we already discussed we believe he's stronger than Obito at that point when they first met. But this Itachi is also progressing throughout the story now because he's power hungry. So within the Akatsuki, you think that his standing is still third at that point, or you think that he's higher up the list?
And let's not forget, Itachi also implanted the Amaterasu within Sasuke, to where if Obito or Madara had to come into close proximity of Sasuke, the Amaterasu would basically kick off and hit them, right? So that also shows, and that's from beyond Itachi dying, that's from beyond the grave. So, it kind of is a testament to how intelligent he is, to the point where he almost outsmarted Obito. Obito, the fact that he had Kamui, it allowed him to survive that Amaterasu, right? But if it wasn't for that, Obito would have been dead. So that's why I still put him over. That's why I still put Itachi over Obito. But in terms of the rankings, Probably second. I'd still give Pain a slight edge over him just because of how strong the Rinnegan is. But again, in Naruto, brute strength is not everything. And that was one part of the show that I wish they'd emphasize on a little bit more. Because I find like later on into the show, it just became more so about how destructive ninjutsu was. But people forget that you don't necessarily need to be the strongest to be the strongest. And that was Itachi. Itachi would make the most out of very little. And he pretty much showed that the power of indirect contact or the power of persuasive techniques or genjutsu to put everything in a nutshell can be just as deadly and just as strong as ninjutsu, if not stronger.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Itachi too. As you just stated too, which is important. We're not even just basing it off of brute strength. Because intelligence can win a fight more so than how broken you are as abilities, right? And I'm not saying that Obito is dumb by any means, but Obito is not the most intelligent person. Everything that Obito planned, everything he thought of was pretty much Madara's idea. He was just the hand in the idea. He was at the execution. Like he executed the idea. He went about it very well. That's the goes to show you that he's not dumb or stupid, because he executed very well Madara's idea. But at the same time, when it comes to just outright intelligence and thinking for yourself, we gotta give that to Itachi. Itachi would definitely find a way to get around that community, that broken ability that Obito has, right? He definitely will find a way. For fuck's sake, look all the other jutsus and all the other stuff within Naruto that he found a way to get around, even the reanimated jutsu. He just is too intelligent, right? So like we gotta give that, like I said, I would say that they're equal, especially the Itachi that is within the Akatsuki, that is power hungry, that is not sick. I would say that he's equal to a little bit over Obito, just based off of and just abilities too. Itachi bag is very deep when it comes to abilities, even more so than Obito. You know what I mean? Obito got like one or two broken abilities. The main one, we all know the main one. But Itachi got the Susanoo, the Tuskuska blade, if I pronounce that correctly, the Yatamira. Itachi got just, his bag is just way too deep, right? So like, on top of that, like I said, once again, we imagining that this Itachi don't have any drawbacks, so he can use these things to their full potential. So I gotta give it to Itachi. And for Pain, that one is a little bit more tough, because Pain is, Pain is Pain. But with that being said, I do believe that Itachi eventually can take that definite number one spot within the Akatsuki. And even then, I would still say he's relative to Pain. He's actually like on Pain level, right? Once again, we gotta keep mentioning this for people that don't follow along. This is an Itachi that is not sick. This is an Itachi that is actually out to become powerful. He's not just stagnant within the world after he peak. He want more power. He's a Madara kind of character, a Sasuke kind of character. So like Pain, even if Pain is the number one spot within, but this is a question. There's another question that I need to ask you. You think that Obito was stronger than Pain when there? Because Obito was technically the leader of the Akatsuki. Pain was the face, but we know that Obito was the leader behind everything. You think that Pain was stronger than Obito at that point, when Obito was running things from behind the scenes?
I think Pain is what Obito is to Madara. I think if you had to give an assessment of intelligence hierarchy, I would put Obito as somebody to be more intelligent than Pain, and that's mostly why he was on top. Because when you look at the two of them, their powers together, there's not much reason why Pain should be taking orders from Obito, Well, at the same time, Obito is the reason Pain has a Renegon. Because Pain was used as a cultivation device to reawaken the Renegon. Being that he's an Uzumaki, well, we're talking about Nagato. Nagato being of Uzumaki blood, which is a descendant of the Senjus, and they basically, the mixture of Uchiha blood and Senju blood creates the Renegon. So he's like the progenitor and the avatar of the Renegon. But I would still, intelligence wise, I'd still put Obito over Pain. And in terms of power, uh, I would say because we just came from that topic, right? Intelligence and what Itachi could achieve with his intelligence. I think, because what I was going to say is Pain's potential can supersede Obito's, but again, intelligence. So I feel like Obito would be above Pain. And Itachi is more gifted in both the physical, well, not the physical, but the intellectual sense, right? So I think in time, again, if we're talking about an Itachi that was actually evil, an Itachi that was actually bloodthirsty, an Itachi that was gunning for conquering and ruling the ninja world, eventually he would supersede the two of them. He would probably locate Madara and finish kill him. Because one of the biggest factors too is that Madara actually gave Itachi props from beyond the grave. So you gotta take that into consideration.
Yeah, like in terms of intelligence, I think that Itachi triumph over both Obito and Nagato slash Pain, which I'm not saying that those characters are dumb, because those characters are intelligent within their own right to a degree. But Itachi is just he's just intelligence is S class. Because like I said, for Obito and Nagato, they didn't come up with those plans on their own. They executed the plans, but Obito got orders from Madara. Obito followed along and executed to the best he can, and Nagato got orders from Obito, which he followed along and executed to the best he can. You know, but with Itachi, it seemed like Itachi to see these things on his own from years ahead, like years before. He's like he got real future sight. You know what I mean? Like Itachi is like Shisui without the what you call it, Koto Matsukami or whatever it is. Like his future set is ridiculous. He just know, and Madara did give him praises too after he stopped the reanimated jutsu from Kabuto. Madara did say like pretty much, I can't remember, I'm not quoting word for word, but he pretty much did say like, yo, I expect nothing less from you, Itachi. Like, you're one of the greats in that sense, right? So like, let's go on to the fight with him versus Sasuke. Honestly, once again, he's power hungry, so the fight would have gone a complete different way. But I still can't see him killing Sasuke. Like I know he would have taken his eyes and stuff, but I can't. But let's imagine, like, why would he need Sasuke eyes if he had already taken like Shisui eyes from back then when we discussed him versus Shisui? Because we can see Itachi most likely winning, right? So he would have needed. I don't think he would have needed Sasuke eyes to activate the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, because it's not necessarily a sibling thing. You just need another Mangekyo to activate the Eternal, right? So like he would have already had that from Shisui. So he wouldn't. I can't see him killing Sasuke even if he's power hungry. I really can't see him doing that. But that means Sasuke would have been out of the equation in terms of Itachi pursuing power, because he would have already gotten the Eternal Mangekyo from Shisui.